Hey everybody, my name is Danielle and this is Chatter Out Loud. Thank you so much for joining me. Your presence is very much appreciated. So welcome back. Today I'm going to chat about Hallmark's Countdown to Christmas new original movie, All Saints Christmas. If you're interested in hearing my thoughts about the movie, keep listening. All right, All Saints Christmas. It premiered on Sunday, November 6th at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Hallmark Channel, and it stars Ledisi and Roger Cross. The synopsis is as follows. Lisette is a popular R&B singer who's getting ready to travel home to New Orleans for Christmas. When the media mistake a photo of her with her music producer ex as an engagement announcement, her family insists that he join her on the trip. All right, Lisette is a successful R&B singer whose life is at a crossroads. The story develops where she finds herself in the media as engaged to her ex-boyfriend Matthew, who's a music producer. She's shopping and someone recognizes her and she gets startled. And Matthew happens to be there at the same time. And when he gets stressed, his back goes out. So the fan says, "Oh my God, Lisette," and she gets startled. Lisette has a ring in her hand, and she drops it because she's startled. Matthew goes to help her pick up the ring, and he notices that it's her. When he gets stressed, his back goes out, and so he bent down to pick up the ring. He had a hard time getting up, and then the person snaps the photo, and it looks like he's proposing to her because he gets the ring and then goes to give it to her. I don't think the story was too far out there for a Hallmark movie. I was okay with it, and I actually liked the story. All right, and the subplot of the entire story was the dad closing his club and the family's reaction to it. The dad is also very a big name in the town. He's a jazz musician. He owns a nightclub. Excuse me. And he's contemplating closing down the club. So we get the supporting cast really rallying around that. All right. I want to start with the performances. Ledisi had a lot of support with the talent in this cast. I thought she did a good job. There were a few moments that I wasn't convinced, but overall, Ledisi's performance, it wasn't bad. The girl who played Gia, I think her name is Lucia Walters. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. We've seen her in a lot of movies as supporting cast, and she definitely helped with adding something more to the movie, right? The dad, Peter Bryant, he's also a veteran with Hallmark. We see him a lot, and you can notice him because he has that birthmark or the mole, or beauty mark, I should say, right? Or women call it beauty mark, but it could be a birthmark, a mole, whatever. But we've seen him. He's a veteran in Hallmark, so we've seen him on a lot of movies, and I was excited to see him in this movie as well. I think he elevated the movie a little more, right? The lead guy, he was in Game, Set, Love this past summer. He has a long resume, so he added weight to the movie as well. And I say all of that to say that Ledisi had a supporting cast around her that didn't allow her to fail. I thought she did a good job, right? She was decent. I mean, I enjoyed it. She was prepared. I liked it. I believed her in certain moments. In other moments, I didn't. But that's with all Hallmark movies. But I enjoyed her in this film. And remember, we know Ledisi from her music. At least I do. I'm a fan. She's in my playlist. And when I write or need to focus, she's on heavy rotation. So I was excited to see her in this. All right. I felt that the leads had good chemistry. I believed them as a couple. It took a while for me to warm up to it, but it got there. I also felt the most comfortable parts of the movie is when she sang, right? Or when she was most comfortable is when she sang. That's her element, right? She has Grammys to prove that she's a good singer. And I heard someone out there, I listen to a lot of different podcasts, And Ledisi, she's an R&B kind of neo soul, that modern jazz type of sound, right? She does have a couple of gospel records in her portfolio, but for the most part, I mean, someone described her as a gospel singer, and people are saying her name Ledisi. So just in love. It's Ledisi, and she's R&B soul considered, with a neo soul jazz type of sound, a modern jazz, right? All right. Anyway, with her acting in this role and seeing her on Hallmark, and she was in a couple of other movies. I thought she did good, right? So kudos to her for taking this leap and being a Hallmark lead. Good for her. I wish this movie had marketing like the other movies. I didn't see them like do a Facebook Live. I didn't see them in many interviews. I'll have to look harder, but if I'm mistaken, please let me know. I just don't remember seeing that. And I had to search hard to find these interviews. So I wish the marketing was a little bit better for this movie. The cast was predominantly Black, and the story takes place in New Orleans. And from what I read, they shot a portion of the movie in Canada and a portion in New Orleans. We got Christmas decor and the holiday spirit. I, for one, enjoyed the Christmas soul, right? And the element of jazz in the movie. So thank you for that, Hallmark. I felt the storyline stayed on message. It surrounded a relationship with music. The dad and his club. He's a legend in the community. Lisette's career in music business. Matthew's connection as a music producer, and of course the siblings helping to run the club, and the mom has an extensive career in PR. So it wasn't a hard story to follow, right? And it all surrounded their relationship with music. Lisette was a really likable character. Her styling was all right. There were a few moments that I'm very critical of. And I won't name, well, my first thought when I saw a couple of things, I thought there's no one in production to say that just doesn't look natural. And let me give you an example. There was one scene when Lisette was laying down in the bed, and the way her hair was like tucked under her neck, it was just so unnatural. It looked, and she looked uncomfortable, right? But she just like stood there. It just looked weird, and I wish they would have just changed that little detail. It just stood out for me. I mean, I can forgive that there was no bonnet on her head when she slept. That's okay. But the way she was laying her head and on the pillow was weird, because her hair was like tucked under her neck, and I'm like, nobody sleeps like that. But that's okay, right? The rest of the movie makes up for that. But that was just one thing that stood out to me. I don't know. The other thing was, the mom. Yeah, I had a note here. The mom to me, she just looked more like her sister or friend than her mom, right? She looked really young, whereas the dad looked like a dad, right? And we know she wasn't a younger wife in the movie, because she mentioned that she had decades, like 30 something years in PR. And maybe they added that line just to emphasize that this is the mom and she's been around, but the mom, she looked more like a friend, it wasn't too distracting, but that was just an observation. Was it believable that someone could snap a picture and it be interpreted as something it's not? In this case, Matthew's back going out at the exact same time he goes to give her the ring, notices it's her, and then his back like just goes out, and it looks like the stance that he's in, it looks like he's proposing. It's a stretch, yes, but then again, it's Hallmark, right? So we go with it. I enjoyed the movie. I was excited to see Ledisi. I thought she did a good job. Oh yeah, and at the end, it looked like they used like digital, or I heard someone say CGI for the snowfall. It doesn't snow in New Orleans, does it? I mean, you don't have to have snow for this to be a Christmas movie, Hallmark. What are we doing? I thought it was bad. It didn't look real at all. And I wonder how many times they had to shoot that just to pretend that it's snowing, right? I mean, the Gia character, she was reaching out her hand like the snow was falling in her hand. And I thought, oh my goodness. But we don't have to have snow. Or do we for a Hallmark Christmas movie? I don't know. Based on where we were, where it was set, right? New Orleans. I don't know. That just made me laugh. I love the new Christmas song too. And I like that she performed her song in the movie. I have that in my playlist now. Although I do have to say, I do like her song with Kim much better. It's called Be Mine. I love that song. That's in my Christmas rotation as well. All right. I may have said this already, but I did appreciate the Christmas soul in the music, and specifically, or especially when they were decorating the Christmas tree. So I liked hearing that. The only cringe I would say was the dad's rules in being in the house by 11. I thought these are grown people and they were rushing to get home. I mean, she was like, oh, we gotta go, Matthew, we gotta go. He had locked the door at 11. And then when she was throwing the rock at the window to wake up the brother, he had his headset on. He was knocked out. And I laughed when the sister came out and said, what are you doing? So that offered a little chuckle for me there. Or I should say I offered a chuckle. But I don't know. The dad with the 11 o'clock rule, I don't know. These are grown people. Whatever. I get his house, his rules, right? I thought the ending wrapped up nicely, as Hallmark rom-coms generally ends, right? I think this movie would be rated with mixed reviews. It would depend on your tastes. A lot of people didn't know Ledisi or don't know her. I hope they had got a good impression. From what I see online, the movie was received well, and I agree. I thought she did a good job, and I liked it. It was reminiscent of classic Hallmark. So good for Ledisi. Good job. I enjoyed it. All right. I recommend it that you give it a try. All right. All Saints Christmas. Have you seen the movie? What did you think? You have to let me know your thoughts in a comment below. And that's all I have. So be sure to come back and give me a listen. I'd love for you to like, share, follow, comment, and subscribe, all of which will help my channel grow. So thank you in advance. My name is Danielle, and you're listening to Chatter Out Loud. Thank you so much for joining me. And as always, I appreciate your support. And that's all I have. Thanks again for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.